Sooner recruiting and football news with Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
Hit the guys up on the Riverwind Casino call-in line at 405-329-9000 or text the show on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line at 405-651-3439.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
Man, it felt like we were drinking from a fire hose yesterday on this show. With all the news we had to run down, all the visitor reactions, all the nuggets, there was so much information to process and to relay to all of you here on Locked In on our Monday installment of the show. Now it is Tuesday, and so we're basically carrying over all of the same storylines from yesterday and discussing several topics that we did not get around to, several recruitments that we did not get around to yesterday. To be clear, expecting some news here pretty shortly that we'll have to react to, no doubt. But also, Grayson, the news of the day, I would say, to this point, is the fact that 3 Rivals national recruiting analysts, Adam Gorney, Sam Spiegelman, and the great Steve Wiltfong, all moved in concert to enter Oklahoma predictions for Peyton Houston, the 4-star quarterback out of Evangel Christian Academy in Shreveport, Louisiana. And it is now the consensus. It is now evident to the whole world, Grayson, that the Sooners are in the catbird seat leading into Peyton Houston's decision next Monday.
And there'd be no reason that they wouldn't be, given what they put on display against Michigan. But also, I mean, to me, at some point, you gotta come around to the obvious, right? At some point, 2 + 2 is going to equal 4, and 2 + 2 will always equal 4. And, you know, there was some measure of intel that had Steve Wiltfong put in the projection for USC a couple of months ago. And with new information, you get to change your opinion. I think that's the basis on how our industry works. And there has been more information. It has been more conclusive that, hey, Oklahoma's going to get this done. They've matched the relationship aspect with the football aspect. There's new information. It's time for a new opinion. And the new opinion is now the consensus one that come September 15th, Peyton Houston will be a Sooner.
And what a centerpiece he would be to Oklahoma's 2027 class. A 2027 class that, well, and we can discuss it now because Steve just put it out there. 4-star athlete Damari DeJearn from the state of California is about to announce his commitment live between UCLA, Miami, Oklahoma, and Michigan. I expect that Oklahoma will be getting good news from Damari DeJearn.
Fast dude. Really fast dude.
10-3 in the 100 meters fast. And so the Sooners already have one 2027 commit in 3-star offensive tackle Luke Wilson. But hey now, it could be 2 here very shortly if indeed, as expected, Damari DeJearn announces his commitment to Oklahoma.
Now, Luke Wilson is the tackle from South Lake Carroll, right?
Luke Wilson is the tackle from South Lake Carroll. That is correct.
How are they, speaking of South Lake Carroll, let's go here. How are they trending with Brody Knowles?
They lead for Brody Knowles.
Okay, there you go.
They're number 1. We shall see what happens. We'll see what kind of priorities Oklahoma ends up establishing post-DeJearn, if indeed he commits here shortly. Because once you get one commit on board, you're going to naturally be a little bit more scrupulous about who you allow to commit, because that's one spot occupied, and it's really tough to project this far out how many spots you'll actually need at a position like wide receiver in the 27 cycle. So I would imagine, well, I know there's a certain hierarchy of desires on the 2027 wide receiver board. I also know that Brody Knowles is a very unique specimen. As anybody who's seen him in person or watched his tape can attest to, he's about 6'5". He's a tall wideout. And so it would contrast nicely with the addition of a guy like DeJearn, no doubt. Smaller speed guy if you were able to land a big framed wide receiver like Brody Knowles that can kind of be, in essence, your next Ivan Carrion, if you will, or your next Jaden Gibson. Next in the line of tall, physical, ball-hawking wide receivers at Oklahoma. So assuming DeJean commits, that'll be one wide receiver spot occupied. I would be surprised if the Sooners in the short term took more than 3. The outlook is probably going to be different in that regard come the end of the season, and we see some transfer portal attrition, and we get a sense as to whether a guy like Giovanni Gibson, for instance, is going to be back at Oklahoma in 2026, and just what the roster breakdown, what the scholarship breakdown looks like at that point. But I think there's a ton of potential for this class to start coming together in a hurry after Peyton Houston commits. I don't think it's out of the question that Oklahoma could climb as high as, say, double-digit commits in the 2027 cycle by the end of this calendar year, assuming we get Houston on board.
And I think I don't know if I said this on air yesterday. I know I said it to you when we were talking before we went on. But it seems like the rewards that you're going to reap from beating Michigan and coming out of there with a win while displaying that kind of an environment are most likely going to be felt in the 2027 class, which is why I think it leads you to believe that this class could come together rather quickly. That now, obviously everybody wants to know, okay, what does this do in terms of flip season for the 2026 class? But a lot of the news so far, whether it's come from you, whether it's come from Steve or others who have written articles on this, a lot of the names that are being mentioned are 2027, which is why I go back to this time last week when I said this game is the most important for 2028, 2029, and so on and so forth for Oklahoma. And I think that's coming to fruition now is that, all right, we got a 2027 quarterback potentially on the horizon of committing, got an athlete wide receiver that can play everywhere. That's about to be on board, what we expect, and then there's more that is left to come. So that's what I think this game, the win over Michigan, is starting to prove and is starting to unfold for us.
CD from Hockley on the text line says, watching the DeJean tape reminds me of watching Zachariah Branch.
It's a hell of a comparison.
Zachariah Branch might be the single most electrifying. Like, I wasn't around to watch Reggie Bush or anything like that, so I'm not saying he's the most electrifying high school prospect that has ever existed. He's the most electrifying high school prospect that I've watched in my 5+ years in the industry. That dude was so hard to tackle, so shifty. And, of course, he was a Cali kid, wound up at USC for a couple of years, has since transferred to Georgia. But if Damari DeJean winds up being anything like Zachariah Branch, that's going to be a fun little chess piece in that Oklahoma offense.
Mm-hmm.
Also, yeah, he's small, but he's not tiny. I think that warrants recognition as well. For instance, what's everybody's beef with Zion Reagans, who can run like the wind? He's 5'8" and 150 pounds.
Yeah, he's tiny.
Damari DeJean is a good solid 5'10" and 170. So you would think with him being a junior in high school, by the time he gets to Oklahoma and hits the field as a true freshman, maybe 5'10", in the neighborhood, I'd call it 185 or so. You can do something with that.
Absolutely.
A 405 listener says, just keep winning, and they will come. No doubt about that. A 580 listener says, get Houston, then flip Booby Feaster. Now that's going to be an interesting storyline to watch right there. Because Feaster himself is on record saying, and he's said it on and off the record several times over the years, I'm going wherever Peyton Houston's going. Peyton Houston and I will be teammates at the next level. Now, that assertion, no doubt, probably played a lot into the USC buzz back in the early summer for Peyton Houston.
Probably.
Well, now, as it is apparent that Oklahoma is the lead dog to land Houston next Monday, and we know that USC's classes characteristically tend to start falling apart right about this time on the calendar every single year, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Do you think, if I had to ask you today, September 9th, do you think Booby Feaster will sign with the Sooners?
Let me get back to you a week from now on that. Let me get back to you a week from now.
No. The question was, if I asked you on September 9th, which is here and now, if you had to put a prediction in right now, look, again, different information, you can change your opinion.
Okay.
No big deal.
Okay.
No big deal.
Right now?
Yes, right now.
No.
Okay.
Ask me again in a week. We'll see.
Okay. All right.
And yes, it is official. DeMar DeJean has committed to
Yes.
Oklahoma. Hayes Fawcett announced it on Twitter moments ago. So there you go. 2 commits in the 27 class for Oklahoma.
2 pretty good ones, too.
Yeah, they're studs. A 918 listener asks, is Peyton Houston's height, 5'9", a concern? First off, Peyton Houston is not 5'9". I don't know where he's listed at 5'9". If he is listed at 5'9" anywhere, that is inaccurate. I mentioned this yesterday because we addressed this same topic yesterday. I have seen Peyton Houston in person a lot over the last couple of years. I would like to think I have a pretty good impression of how tall he actually is. I would put him at 5'11". I do not think he is 6 feet tall, but he is absolutely not 5'9". And 5'11", you can work with that, right? Especially when you're the type of athlete that Peyton Houston is. Like Bryce Young, for instance. Bryce Young isn't that spectacular of an athlete, but he wound up being the first pick in the draft at 5'11". So these days, with how the quarterback position has evolved and how the quarterback prototype has evolved, you can be 5'11" and play really high-level football and excel. I'm not concerned about Peyton Houston's height. Heck, Dylan Gabriel was 5'11", right?
Yeah.
I was thinking about this the other day. This is, tangentially related to this whole conversation because we are talking quarterbacks, but 2024 sucked. There was precious little good that came out of 2024. But if 2024 did nothing else for the Oklahoma fan base, I think it reset everybody's barometer of what good quarterback play looks like. Because there was a time, circa 2022 and 2023, where Dylan Gabriel, phenomenal college football quarterback, was regarded as inferior, was regarded as mediocre, was regarded as mid by a large contingent of this fan base because their expectations had been modified. Their expectations had been distorted by
Baker and Kyler.
7 years at that point of Baker Mayfield and then Kyler Murray and then Jalen Hurts and then good Spencer Rattler before bad Spencer Rattler reared his ugly head and Caleb Williams had to come in and save the day. But Oklahoma had such spectacular quarterback play for the span of the better part of a decade that when a guy who was merely good,
not special,
I would say great college quarterback, but not a generational, you know what, I don't even want to use that word. That word's been way overplayed, especially lately. But not like a Heisman caliber quarterback. Not a ridiculous physical talent at the position. Felt like there was a significant amount of Oklahoma football fans that just didn't know how to react. Didn't know how to regard Dylan Gabriel other than, well, he's not what we're used to. What 2024 did, due to, at times, the stunningly inept quarterback play at the University of Oklahoma, was it forced everybody to effectively hit the reset button with regard to expectations. I would argue that if John Mateer comes in at the University of Oklahoma in 2022 and does what he's done over the first 2 games, people are a lot less impressed right now than they are right now with 2024 in the rearview mirror. I think what happened in 2024, as much as it sucked, if it succeeded, and I think it did, in resetting Oklahoma fans' collective expectation and collective perspective on what good quarterback play looks like, that is a win. A small win, but a win nonetheless.
I mean, you could say impressed by John Mateer, but I don't think it's, otherworldly impressed. But I think the prevailing emotion is, thank God. Thank God we have a quarterback. I think relief is the more accurate emotion that you're talking about there.
Brian and Bixby says, can we get Peyton Houston on some HGH stat? If you want Peyton Houston to be taller, I can't help you. He's 5'11". He'll probably always be 5'11". I'll tell you this much, though.
Wait, hold on. I mean, the kid's, he's not even to his senior year of high school. Do you just not get the impression?
I don't think he's going to grow.
You don't think he's going to grow another inch and a half?
Well, and I've spent a lot of time around him and around his family. And his parents weren't blessed with exceptional height. And so he's already, I think, exceeded reasonable expectations in that regard. Like, I'm not under the impression he's going to sprout another 2 or 3 inches. So,
okay, fair enough.
Yeah, he's already tall for what could have been reasonably expected with his genetic pool, if you will. But the thing about that kid, he is bulked up, man. He's north of 200 pounds at 5'11". He's got good muscle mass. He's got a really good frame. Strong in the lower half, strong in the upper half. And it helps him, and this stands out to people if you watch his tape, it helps him generate some serious zip on the football.
Oh, yeah. He's probably got – and that's the thing with John Mateer, too. He throws the ball hard. The one pass that Satania dropped in the Michigan game, the first thing I said was like, okay, yeah, he dropped the ball. But damn, I mean, he threw that thing hard. Be able to get it to some places, fit it through some windows.
There's not a throw on the football field that Peyton Houston can't make, man. And I think that somebody thankfully acknowledged that on the OU Insider VIP board earlier this morning after Steve Wilfong's pick went in. They said, man, I just kind of assumed Peyton Houston had modest arm talent based on his measurables, but then I went and watched the film, and wow, he can sling the rock.
Yeah.
Do your homework, folks. Watch the tape. I encourage all of you to do that. If we're going to have intelligent discourse about recruiting here on this show, which is what I enjoy doing with so many of you, come with your homework completed.
Okay, Professor Thune. Monster Truck Guy, speaking of intelligent discourse, Monster Truck Guy makes a reference that I really appreciate in response to the HGH. Drugs are bad, okay?
Yes, drugs are bad. Generally want to stay away from drugs.
You have no idea what that reference is.
No, I don't. What is the reference? Is it a TikTok?
Monster Truck Guy, I hope that this is what you were trying to do. But that is a South Park reference.
Oh, okay, got you. Yeah, I haven't watched South Park. Not start to finish anyway. I've seen episodes here and there.
Oh.
That's a long series. It's been in syndication for 26 years?
Yeah, since you were born.
Yeah, since
probably.
the 90s.
Yeah.
So, man. 405-651-3439 is the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line. We'll hit more of your texts. Again, we covered so much ground yesterday, but with a weekend like Oklahoma had and all of the visitors they had in town this past Saturday, there's a ton of ground that we didn't cover. And frankly, I've lost track to a certain extent of what ground we didn't cover yesterday that we need to cover the rest of the week. So, hey, if you have questions, if you have a particular recruitment that you would like some insight on, you want to know how a particular visitor felt about his time at Oklahoma on Saturday, fire your questions at us. Weigh in with your comments and opinions. We welcome everyone to check in with us on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line. Again, 405-651-3439. Keep it right here on the Ref, the home of Sooner fans. We'll be back.
Every day, 32 people in the U.S. lose their lives in crashes involving a drunk driver. That's one life every 45 minutes.
The victims aren't just numbers. They are mothers, fathers, sons, and daughters whose lives are forever changed.
From life-threatening injuries to years of recovery, the aftermath of a drunk driving crash can be devastating. If you or a loved one have been hurt by a drunk driver, you don't have to face it alone. Call McIntyre Law at 405-777-7000.
Where do Oklahoma sports fans go to watch the big game? Gridiron Sports Bar at River Spirit Casino Resort in Tulsa. With multiple viewing screens and a huge LED wall, you'll never miss a play. Enjoy bar-top gaming, Top Golf swing suites, delicious game day food and drinks, and a VIP lounge for top-tier players. Gridiron Sports Bar takes sports fans to another viewing level. Gridiron Sports Bar, Tulsa's fan favorite.
Mike Steele here for Lasher Home Comfort Systems, your trusted home comfort experts in the Oklahoma City metro area. Tim Lasher and his team have more than 130 years of combined experience. They recognize a significant number of homeowners live with inadequate home comfort systems. They specialize in diagnosing your home system issues while providing more efficiency and reducing your utility costs. As an authorized dealer of American Standard, Tim can service your residence or business. Call Tim and his team at 405-579-3113. Lasher Home Comfort Systems.
Feeling stuck in your current home? Now is the best time to make a move. Home Creations is making home ownership more affordable with low interest rate opportunities and special financing. Don't wait. Live like a champion today. Call Holly at 405-364-9999 to find your dream home.
364-9999 means Home Creations.
Beat the heat at Hey Pickle Pickle, Heyday Entertainment's brand new pickleball facility. With 5 indoor courts, Oklahoma summer won't be able to stop you from getting your game on. Learn more at heypicklefun.com and remember, drink responsibly.
Hope is on the green this fall. Join the St. Jude Oklahoma Golf Classic presented by Bob Moore Infinity and help fund life-saving treatment for children at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Every shot you take helps St. Jude Children's Research Hospital continue its mission, where families never receive a bill. The event takes place at Quail Creek Golf and Country Club on October 20th. Whether you're swinging a club or sponsoring a hole, you're making a difference. Spots are limited. Don't wait. Sign up now at stjude.org/OKGolfClassic.
It's football time in Oklahoma, and Cayman's on Main Street in Norman is your one-stop shop for men's and women's clothing and accessories for OU. Guys, Peter Millar OU SEC polos and quarter zips are found only at Cayman's. They've been doing business for over 45 years and feature Johnny O, Rag and Bone, John Hardy, and much more. Football is here, and your OU SEC merch is at Cayman's in Carriage Plaza on Main Street in Norman. Call 405-360-3969 and let Cayman's help you with your OU game days.
F5 IPA by Coop Bellworks doesn't just hit, it touches down. Brace yourself for a hop-reckoning punch that'll blow your taste buds away. An iconic original that takes the proud title of Oklahoma's #1 selling IPA. Be sure to raise an F5 on game day.
Hey, it's Mike Steele, one of America's favorite regional radio stars. Not really. Reminding you to go to the Apple Store or the Google Play Store and download the KREF app. You'll have access to the Ref forever at the Apple Play Store or the Google Play Store. You can listen to myself and Parker Thune from noon to 2 and all the other great shows right here on the Ref Radio Network, the home of Sooner fans. Go get the app. It's awesome.
Locked in here on the Ref, brought to you by Dorsey Jones GMC. In the market for a new vehicle? Check out Dorsey Jones' lineup of GMCs. Some of the most reliable trucks and SUVs on the road today, produced by GMC. And it's not just about what they can do to provide you with a new vehicle, it's what they can do for your existing vehicle as well. In the realm of service, Dorsey Jones offers half-price oil changes on Saturdays. Pride themselves on having friendly and helpful service technicians out there. So they got you covered front to back. All things automotive. Dorsey Jones in El Reno is your stop. 405-651-3439 is the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line, and it is popping off. And as I would expect, this is always one of the things I look forward to the most about a climactic Oklahoma win is, man, it's going to be a busy week on the text line in the aftermath. I guess the same is true of an OU loss. There's always just a massive bump in interactions on the text line whenever the season starts.
It just depends on which side of the emotional spectrum you're going to get.
Hey, let me tell you, OU just extended a very interesting PWO offer. and this is within the last hour, but they extended a PWO offer to a kid that I've been monitoring for a long time now. About a year and a half that this kid's been on my radar as somebody that could be a serious player at the next level. And that is Cannon Bozeman, 2026 wide receiver out of Highland Park in Texas. This kid had 1,150 yards and 13 touchdowns last year as a junior. This year as a senior, first game of his senior season, 11 catches for 209 yards and 4 touchdowns. Went for 5, 124, and 2 in the first half of his game this past week before weather caused its cancellation. So in 6 quarters of play, some quick math here, 16 catches for 333 yards and 6 touchdowns. I've also gotten to see this kid, Grayson, at OU camp. He came up last summer of 2024, and camped at Oklahoma. Nobody could guard this kid. He's probably about 5'11". Think he's a little bit south of 6 feet. But he goes 0 to 60 in a hurry. His acceleration and deceleration, mind you, 2 things that really, really stand out about his skill set. Excellent route runner, just a technician in the purest sense of the word. And oh, by the way, he can really run. Holds the school record at Highland Park in the 100 meters. And as we know, as I'm sure you know, Highland Park is no joke of an athletic institution.
No. Played against that school quite a few times when I was in high school. It wasn't fun. He is a really good route runner and a good feel for space too. I'm watching the highlights as you were talking. Fast dude, and by the way, not against scrub competition either.
No,
I mean he's doing this against the likes of Rockwall Heath, is who they've had on their schedule. I think they've also had Lovejoy as well.
Yep.
You know, throw a flyer at this kid. Throw a flyer at the kid and see what happens. 6 foot 175 is definitely size you can work with. We're not talking about undersized receiver here. I think based on how I see him move, he has the ability, especially with the acceleration, deceleration, to play and really succeed in the slot too. This could be something that has a huge payoff for you if you want to allow him into the class.
This could be another Jacob Jordan. Very well could be. And somebody in the text line asked, what's holding him back from a scholarship offer? Well, honestly, what was holding Jacob Jordan back from a scholarship offer back in the day at Oklahoma? It was just spots and the fact that Oklahoma didn't need to extend a scholarship offer in order to get him on board. And I don't think they're going to need to use a scholarship to get Cannon Bozeman on board. Emmett Jones has been building this relationship for a really, really, really long time. They've set this up at Oklahoma. They've laid the groundwork for this for a long time now. And so I have the expectation right now that Cannon Bozeman is going to wind up choosing Oklahoma. He has a PWO offer from SMU, so that's going to be something to monitor. I know
that's what I was just about to look up, if it was a PWO or a scholarship from SMU.
And I know he intends to visit Texas this weekend. I believe they intend to offer him a PWO as well. But to the best of my knowledge, OU, if he had the choice between those 3 schools, which it looks like he will, OU would be the preference. And frankly, Grayson, and again, this is something I've been tracking for a few days now, once I found out he was coming up for the Michigan game this past Saturday. Jacob Jordan and his career trajectory at Oklahoma is a big reason why OU looks like the most preferable destination in Cannon Bozeman and his folks' mind right now. Is because it's been demonstrated by Jacob Jordan that even if you walk on at Oklahoma, if you can play, you will see the field. And this is a guy that believes he can play at this level. He's eager to come and prove it, whether that's at Oklahoma or elsewhere. So This is one to watch. This is one to seriously watch. It's not often I would say this about a PWO. Don't spend a whole lot of time talking about PWOs. But this kid is not your average PWO. And this will be a very valuable addition to Oklahoma's class if they can wrap this up with him.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but would Jacob Jordan's play – and look, Jacob Jordan is no scrub, by the way.
No,
so I need to make sure that I get this question off and try to articulate what I mean here. It's not as if he's gotten a whole heck of a lot of playing time. Now, that being said, do you think that actually is a luring point for a guy like Bozeman? Because it's not like Jacob Jordan has become a superstar here at Oklahoma, but has he done enough and has he gotten enough playing time to where you would say, like, oh, yeah, no, this is attractive for a walk-on?
Yeah, no,
okay.
It is. And
okay.
I mean, certainly Jacob Jordan isn't the only example. You have Drake Stoops, too, right? Like, and when Drake Stoops showed up,
that's a better one.
I'm not convinced even – and I know there were those locally who watched Drake Stoops in high school. I don't know that anybody expected that Drake Stoops was going to be a borderline 1,000-yard guy by the time he graduated from Oklahoma. But that kid proved if you put your head down, handle your business, trust your own ability, and continue to get better, the opportunities will abound for you at Oklahoma. It happened for Drake Stoops. It's happened for Jacob Jordan. It can happen for Cannon Bozeman, too.
Sure, why not?
Papa Boganowski said, yes, Grayson, he's white. Lunch pail guy. Coach on the field, even.
Okay, you don't see that many wide receivers coach on the field, whether they're black, white, or blue.
918 listener says, he sounds better than Cole Adams. Cole Adams, man. I got to check in on that kid at some point. How's he doing at Alabama? I know he was playing for them a little bit last year. Didn't play against Oklahoma, but he's seeing the field at the very least, if I recall correctly. A 918 listener wants to know, how are we looking to get Cooper Hackett? I've said it before. I will say it again. I think Cooper Hackett winds up signing with Oklahoma. When does he flip from Texas Tech to Oklahoma? I don't know. Timeline-wise, I couldn't tell you. But I think it will happen. I feel very strongly that it will happen. And frankly, Grayson, this is another reason why it does you some good to have some early momentum in the 2027 class. You got Luke Wilson, added Damari DeJean today, with the potential of picking up your centerpiece in Peyton Houston, the quarterback, next week. If this snowball gets rolling downhill here, it only makes it harder and harder for Cooper Hackett to hold out and hold off.
But by the way, Luke Wilson and Cooper Hackett would be a hell of a haul at tackle in one single class. And by the way, I didn't make the connection until I saw it on the text line. Cole Adams was the dude that got smoked by the punter.
Yo, that was him?
That was Cole Adams.
Bro.
He was the one that got absolutely clotheslined by the ULM punter this weekend.
Didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
You were saying?
No, yeah, that would be, I mean, Luke Wilson on one side, the kid from South Lake Carroll, and then Cooper Hackett. Luke Wilson, by the way, is a mammoth of a human being.
Yeah, big boy.
And, Hackett's, I think, still has some development to do, I would say, just based on looking at his body. But that's two very talented people. That would have been not completely akin, but a step or two down from if you would have landed Andrew Babalola in conjunction with Michael Fasusi last year.
Several folks pointing out on the text line with regard to Cannon Bozeman, if he lives in Highland Park, I doubt money's going to be an issue for him. And there is truth to that as well. He, as I understand, he doesn't need a scholarship. He just wants an opportunity.
He just wants to play.
Yeah. And he's going to get the opportunity to play. He'll get the opportunity to compete at Oklahoma. So now we wait to see whether Oklahoma can close the deal with the kid. T-Bone on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line says, Parker, let's do a segment of your preferred recruits versus the existing without stepping on toes. Okay, first off, that's going to be hard to do at face value. Secondly, are we talking 2026 class? Are we talking 27? What exactly are we looking at? Share with me, if you would, T-Bone, a few more details as to what you have in mind, and I'm willing to entertain it. We'll see if we can shoehorn it into next segment, because we do have one more to go here on the Ref.
Kyle from Salisaw said, did Kennedy Brown have a good visit Saturday?
I don't know that Kennedy Brown made it in. And frankly, I've been so busy with all this other stuff that I haven't had the opportunity to check in with him personally. I didn't see him there on Saturday. I don't know that he actually made it up. I'll try to get an answer on that. By the way, I'm watching Brennan Thompson right now on the Paul Feinbaum show.
He's had a good start to the season.
Who would have thought, man? Brennan Thompson was going to pretty much single-handedly lift Mississippi State to an upset victory over Arizona State down in Starkville, Mississippi this past weekend. Good on Brennan Thompson, though. Always going to root for that kid. He's a good one.
That one catch he made on the deep ball where he made the over-the-shoulder catch reminded me of how tiny he was, because the TV cameras don't do him any favors in that regard.
Oh, 405-651-3439. That is the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line. Keep hitting us up with more of your thoughts, opinions, questions, and we'll dive into our final segment next here on The Ref, the home of Sooner fans.
Do you eat, sleep, and breathe Sooner football? We do too. This is The Ref, home of Sooner fans.
For the professional, it's not enough to just possess knowledge. That's why at GMC, we seek to refine it, to wield its power, to redefine its boundaries, while pushing the limits. And we put this knowledge to the test in every GMC Sierra by engineering each one to outperform your expectations, so you know you're getting precision and durability when you need it most. And that's what makes the GMC Sierra the truck worth knowing. We are professional grade. See your Oklahoma GMC dealers.
Hey, it's Mike Steele here for my friend Gary and the great staff at Cavens Group. After all the rain in the spring and now with temperatures on the rise, you might have a problem with mold growing in your home or business. Let the staff at Cavens help you before it becomes a major issue. Don't forget, Cavens can help you with water emergencies and biohazard cleanup 24 hours a day. Call Cavens today at 405-573-3048 or visit them online at cavensgroup.com.
Are you, your family, or company looking for a locally owned and trusted management group? Carlsbad Management Group is an owner, developer, and manager of high-quality apartment communities in Oklahoma. They are a locally owned and operated management company for apartments and self-storage units. They are committed to providing exceptional apartment homes, customer service, and increasing the value of multi-family communities under our management. If you would like a free management quote today, call Carlsbad Management at 405-701-1411 and be part of the Carlsbad family. Are you craving authentic Italian food? Gabarino's in Norman is the stop. Gabarino's is coming up on 15 years of business, and everything is made from scratch daily. They have $12 lunch specials Monday through Friday from 11 to 2. Whether you're coming in to sit and eat or need to grab a take and bake option, Gabarino's can accommodate everyone. Call 405-310-2229 or swing by their location on Ed Noble Parkway and celebrate their 15 years of amazing authentic Italian food. Gabarino's in Norman.
Oklahoma is rife with high school talent, and KRefSports.tv is the way to see them all before they head to the next level. From OU softball commit Keegan Baker to Washington football commit Mason James, KRefSports.tv brings you the best of Oklahoma 6A sports with the best broadcasters in the state. With softball, volleyball, and now football season ongoing, tap into KRefSports.tv, the best high school sports coverage in Oklahoma.
Now that open enrollment for healthcare coverage has ended, there's still several options to consider that just might benefit you. Need to purchase your own health insurance? Confused about Medicare? Considering offering benefits to your employees? Call the agents at Allison Insurance, featuring 70-plus years of combined insurance business experience. They're able to help clients avoid mistakes when purchasing individual or group health insurance. Call Allison Insurance at 800-580-5587 or 745-2968. They are the experts.
real ID, title transfers, registration renewals. We do it all at Fusen Tag Title and License. Fast, professional service provided on behalf of Service Oklahoma. From IDs to vehicle titles, we are your full-service stop with a smile. Visit FusenTag.com for online services. Questions? Call 405-364-1151. Open 6 days a week. At Fusen Tag Agency, we make real ID real easy. Located off of I-35 in Robinson in Norman.
Aging well means staying healthy, active, and independent. To age well, we need to take care of our bones. 10 million Americans have osteoporosis, a hereditary disease that makes bones weak and more likely to break. Thankfully, we can all take simple steps to improve our bone health at any age. Eat a healthy diet that is rich in calcium and vitamin D. Get regular weight-bearing exercise, which means on our feet. Get bone health tips at pathtogoodbonehealth.org.
(405-651-3439). If you got any last-minute texts to fire at us on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line. Parker, Thune, Grayson, Singleton with you here on Locked In. Man, we got so many texts that we haven't come close to addressing over the course of the hour. So, hey, let's try to hit a bunch of them here, Grayson. How about that?
Let's do it.
First one I wanted to get to. Sooner 287 asked for a Jacob Curry update. Jacob Curry, the 3-star linebacker from the state of Florida that recently decommitted from Northwestern and is back on the open market. I like where Oklahoma stands with Curry. The expectation behind the scenes is that he will wind up in the class for the Sooners. Do I agree with that expectation? I think it's a little bit rosy, at least right now, because he has yet to visit campus. He's due for his OV on September 20th, and so we'll see where things go from there. But there are plenty of folks in the Switzer Center that are convinced Jacob Curry winds up in OU's signing class. So that's where things stand with him. Somebody asked for a red shirt prediction because Brent Venables was asked earlier about Michael Hawkins and the plan for him this season. I think Brent had a perfect answer, which is, you'd like to think you can control that, but you really can't. For instance, you rewind to 2023, Oklahoma had every intention of redshirting Jackson Arnold, playing him in 4 regular season games and keeping a red shirt on him. Then what happened? Dylan Gabriel got domed in the BYU game, and Jackson Arnold had to come in and play the second half and burn his red shirt.
Yep.
And so ultimately, you can't exert total control. You can exert some level of control, but you can't exert total control over a situation like that. And frankly, Grayson, if John Mateer is carrying the ball 19 times every Saturday, at a certain point, those hits might add up, and you'd like to think he avoids injury all season long. But Venables said, and if I'm not quoting him directly, it's a very, very close paraphrase here. He said earlier, we prepare Michael Hawkins every week as if he's the guy that's going to go out there and take 70, 80 snaps for us. Because when you have a quarterback that plays as gung-ho as John Mateer does, you have to.
Yeah, John Mateer plays in a negligent way to his health. And it's part of what makes him great. It's what makes him the box office quarterback he is. But Michael Hawkins, he had better be ready to come in and play well, given the way that the starter likes to play. And Brent talked about that too. He's like, yeah, we would like to see John take less hits.
Sooner 287 asked for a Daniel McMorris update. He did not get offered over the weekend. I think that's probably a situation that Oklahoma is going to continue to monitor from afar over the next several weeks, because I know this, and I mentioned this going into his visit as something that probably wouldn't help his case, is the fact that he only weighs about 255 pounds right now.
Yep.
So Oklahoma has not made that move. Will they make that move? I don't know that I can say authoritatively one way or another, but Bill Bedenbaugh was at Daniel McMorris's game Friday night.
And their offensive line as a whole did not look the greatest against Norman High.
That's right. You were there calling that game.
I did call that game.
So, we'll see. It's a hurry up and wait kind of deal right now with Daniel McMorris, who goes to Texas Tech this weekend, and I would think if Oklahoma doesn't make the move, he probably winds up a Red Raider. CD from Hockley says, Bentley, DeJean, possibly Peyton Houston, and possibly other huge targets. Extend Arbuckle at all costs. How impressive is this going to be, Grayson? And we can obviously, and we will talk about it a whole heck of a lot more next week if and when Peyton Houston does commit to the University of Oklahoma. But to think that Ben Arbuckle's grand introduction, his grand self-introduction to the Oklahoma fan base, is going toe-to-toe with LSU to land Bo Bentley, and then going toe-to-toe with Lincoln Riley to land Peyton Houston?
Highly impressive.
That dude walked in with some swagger on the recruiting trail, especially because, like, he pretty much just picked one guy in the 26 class and one guy in the 27 class. He was like, I'm getting Bo Bentley, I'm getting Peyton Houston.
And by the way, upended every plan that was already in concert with the 2026 one.
Very true.
Which, I mean, if you're going to come in and you're going to wreck that kind of shop, you better come out on top like you did with Bo Bentley. And credit to him, he did. But no, man, he's been a gangster on the recruiting class so far.
Straight up. It's mob boss type stuff.
Well, I mean, and then
that's
he also,
Raymond Reddington type stuff.
I mean, and then he also walked in and just stole Oklahoma State's quarterback, too.
That is true. Also stole Jet New.
Highly impressive.
Sooner CB says, just got done watching Peyton's tape from the Tape Guy show. OMG, please commit to OU. I was on hand last fall when Peyton Houston set a national high school football record with 817 passing yards in a single game. He threw for 817 yards that night, ran for 107 more, accounted for 10 total touchdowns. It was the most impressive performance I've ever seen on a football field. Completely ridiculous, completely absurd. And he made it look so easy, man. So easy. I think I'm going to have to dig through and find all my old tweets about Peyton Houston. I'm pretty sure in like May or June of last year, I say, you know what, Peyton Houston's already my favorite quarterback in the 27 class, all the way in. And he's done nothing since to change my opinion. There is sincerely not a quarterback I would rather have in the 2027 class than Peyton Houston. If I had to build it around one guy in this cycle, I'm building it around Peyton Houston. And that's exactly the same way Ben Arbuckle feels.
4-star Brian Bixby says, Arbuckle got that BDE.
Facts.
Doug and Norman said, do you want to read this text from Doug from Norman? You care?
He says, good broadcast Friday night.
I was going to read it. I just wanted to make sure you were okay with the content.
Yeah, you
okay,
can
cool.
read it.
All right, cool. So he said, Grayson, good broadcast Friday night. Was at the game for the first half, but cold north wind caused me to watch the game from my couch second half. Easily understandable why Mason James was not recruited by OU. Character matters and unsportsmanlike conduct hurts your team. Let me say this, because yes, I was calling that game. The fact that we are throwing people out of games for giving the peace sign is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. And also, too, by the way, this is not a shot at anybody directly, but it is so funny how the generation that precedes us, Parker, talks about kids being soft. Who are the ones that instituted these rules, throwing people out for celebrations and for, taunting? I get taunting could cross the line, but we're penalizing people way too strictly for taunting these days. Like, that is stupid. What's going on there?
A 405 listener asks, who is our next great center? Your next great center, i.e. a guy that's not on the roster right now but will be, your next great center is Noah Best.
Do you think they'll move him to center?
Yes. That is what is being discussed right now between Best and the OU staff. He is down for it. He plays right tackle at Midlothian, but on the practice field and in his spare time, he's getting work snapping and getting ready to step in at Oklahoma this coming spring and start taking reps at center. I love Noah Best. It is not often that I find myself as impressed with an interior offensive lineman as I am with Noah Best. That kid will be a draft pick one day. I don't know where. It's hard to say when you're an interior offensive lineman. Even Creed Humphrey lasted until the back end of the second round, right?
Right.
So I don't know where he'll get drafted. I think that kid's going to get drafted. He is ridiculously strong. He is 6'4". He's 310 pounds. And he is one of the strongest prospects I've seen in recent years on the interior offensive line. He manhandles everyone, and he's really, really light on his feet.
Let me ask you a question to piggyback off that point, though. Do you think if a situation arises like what got Michael Fasusi into the game at tackle this past weekend, if a situation like that arose at guard, do you think Oklahoma would kind of pump the brakes on putting him in at guard? Or do you think they'd be like, all right, Kate, you can go play guard too? Or do you think he's going to exclusively be a center?
He is one of the rare guys that I believe could play all 5 positions on the offensive line if he needed to.
You think he's tall enough to play tackle?
I think he's a little bit undersized for tackle, but he has the quickness and the dexterity to where if he had to play tackle, he could.
Okay.
So, again, the plan is to play him at center. I think you very well could see him at guard in an emergency situation. I'd feel comfortable with that kid kicking out to tackle once he's got a couple years of seasoning on him under Bill Beatonbow. But love Noah Best. There's a good chance when I'm putting together my signing day superlatives in December, I'm listing him as the most underrated guy in Oklahoma's class. He's in the conversation right now.
Doug from Norman fired back and said, I guess sportsmanship doesn't matter. I'm not saying sportsmanship doesn't matter, but the tolerance for things, the tolerance for chippiness has gone to a level that's not good. Like, this is not tennis or golf. We don't need to be gentlemanly to each other every second on the football field. And throwing up a deuces sign should not warrant an ejection.
Oh, no.
That's all I'm saying.
Recruiting Boomer is upset. He said, LOL, I get no run on the text line. Why TF do I even listen or effing try at this point? Waste of energy. Love it. LOL.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, nothing personal, Recruiting Boomer. We're slammed with texts. We try to get to everybody's. We probably haven't read 20% of the texts we've gotten this hour. It is nothing personal, I assure you. But he asked, what's the chances we flip Booby Feaster if we get his buddy Monday? We actually addressed that earlier in the hour. We talked about that. I think Oklahoma's odds to flip Booby Feaster before signing day on December are going to be pretty solid if they lock in Peyton Houston. They're going to have to get him to campus first. I think that's kind of the prerequisite in my mind. Again, he said many times, I'll go where Peyton Houston goes. And so if Peyton Houston goes to Oklahoma, immediately makes Oklahoma the preeminent threat to flip Feaster from his commitment to USC. So we will see how that all unfolds. There was another one I wanted to get to, and now I lost it. See, Recruiting Boomer, you're not the only one. You're not the only one. I'm struggling to keep up with all these texts. John in Ada says, Parker, would Peyton Houston rank as high in your mind as a high school Caleb Williams? I don't want to go there yet. He is only a junior in high school. And so I'm perfectly willing to assert right now that he is the best quarterback in the 2027 cycle as I see it. There's not a signal caller in the class that I would rather have. Is he as good of a prospect as Caleb Williams? He could be. That's a conversation we could be having in another year and a half. I don't want to have it yet. He's halfway done with his high school football career. Still a lot of ball in front of him at Evangel Christian Academy even before he gets to Oklahoma.
Nick in Sepulpa says, I hope we get Booby just to hear Toby say Booby.
Oh, that man. I wonder, would he go? I figure he would go by Booby. He's still listed on all his recruiting profiles across the industry as Ethan, I think. Ethan Feaster. But, yeah, he goes by Booby.
Okay, one day we need to have a conversation about how people go from a name like Ethan to, just call me Booby.
Papi Chulo says, I know exactly how Recruiting Boomer feels. Sorry, Papi Chulo. We have first world problems. We have too many listeners, too many listeners that want to engage and interact with us on a daily basis. We love all of you. We try to make time for as many of you as possible. I'd love to be able to make time for all of you. I can't talk fast enough, and neither can Grayson. It would be auctioneer sports radio if we tried to get to every single text we received. And it would just be all over the place. There would be no flow to the content whatsoever.
Things to not say to your future children.
Folks, we are finished for this installment of Locked In. Greatly appreciate all of you that have listened. Greatly appreciate all of you that listen every single day and that text us on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line. The Rush is coming up next. Tyler McComas and Teddy Lehman have 3 more hours of Sooner football talk on the other side. Grayson, Singleton, and I will do it all again tomorrow. Same time, same place. We will see you then. Don't go anywhere. The Rush is next.